and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 19. I'm your host, Donald Wonder. I'm back here with my ever so beautifully arseholist podcasting host, Simon.
Bring that little bit of extra spicy asshole sauce.
Tasty. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, we're coming off the tails of our Captain America Civil War review. And you know what? We decided we're going to talk a little bit more about how this kind of has a ripple effect on the rest of the movies coming out, superhero movies. And Simon wants to talk about what the industry, what the other labels, what the other companies have to install for us for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
and how you feel they have to match up, how they have things lined up, and how you want to talk about some things. I want to feed off some things. You can see the title right now, which gives this a bit more sense on what we're going to talk about. But you know what? Looking at the figures of this movie right now, which you can see on the screen, it's made a lot of money. I mean, they were already projecting this makes more than Avengers money, but you already know DC, Fox, they have movies, and Marvel have movies coming out later this year. So looking at the landscape of this particular movie, Civil War, and how this effect on the public and its perception, looking for the rest of the year, I mean, how do you see it going with these other labels, and what are they got to do to keep up, to keep you interested, to keep us going?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the landscape, it's almost like we have a big three forming. You got 20th Century Fox still holding on with X-Men. It looked like for a second that, they're out and they should just give back the rights to Marvel, which the fans wanted since the Avengers came out. Everybody wanted everything unified. But, Days of Future Past did well, and they had a huge success with Deadpool earlier this year, which is a franchise Disney can't take because they don't want a rated R, superhero movie under their belt. They can't fit that into their plan.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe in a bit. Maybe through some, Marvel Knights, their, little brother company or whatever.
We'll see. It's all about money, but I see your point.
But we got them. We got 20th Century Fox. And then we got DC and Marvel, obviously. So those are the three big companies left. And we mentioned this in part one. This movie's a game changer because it shows that Marvel could do a darker theme movie, which so far everybody was bouncing off of that. Everybody said Marvel is for, a general audience and it's dumbed down and it's just fun and games and jokes. That's what Zack Snyder said leading into Batman vs. Superman. He said DC is for the serious people. DC is for the people who want something that's, darker and more gritty and all that. And now we see that's all, they're full of shit. And that's not what's going on, and you can do these movies at a darker tone and still be successful.
Well, I'm not going to say that's not what's going on. I'm just saying it didn't fucking work. Like, they thought they could make money off that shit, and they thought after The Dark Knight we just have to reproduce what was done before. And unfortunately, with a character like Superman, didn't turn out too well. But we'll get to DC.
But people need to react to this, and that's what we're going to take a look at today of what's coming up, what are they doing, what they did well in the past, what they did not so well in the past, and what could they do better on? Because this year is packed. I mean, we're already seeing so much stuff for X-Men Apocalypse coming out not too long ago. And it would be interesting to see how people react to it. Because I feel like if 20th Century Fox wants to stay in the game, they need to realize that they were making a continuous mistake with this franchise of always centering it around one pivotal actor. It's like, first it was Hugh Jackman, now you got Jennifer Lawrence, and they keep doing the same mistake of writing these movies around this one actor just to keep them involved in the story. That's
the old school way of doing things. That's that Hollywood's always done it that way, haven't they?
Yeah, but this is their problem, that they don't believe in the lore. So they always write themselves in a corner where everybody wants to see the Phoenix Saga done right. Everyone wants to see Apocalypse done right. Everyone wants to see, the Sentinels, Cable, Bishop. But now you got the girl from Game of Thrones, Sansa Stark, as Jean Grey. But you still got Hugh Jackman in there, who's obviously a little bit too old to be flirting around with her. So that storyline is kind of gone.
You know, that's kind of funny you should say that, because Wolverine is not in the trailers. I know you don't watch trailers. He hasn't shown him in the X-Men Apocalypse trailer until now, but you don't see him just as Claw.
Yeah.
So they might be addressing, you never know. So that's a good point. But yeah, there's a bit of confusion and it wasn't really planned out. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. And also Jennifer Lawrence. We all love Jennifer Lawrence. She's a great actress. She's good as Mystique. She works well in the movie. But Mystique... animation comics, she's like
she's a side character.
Yeah, she's a sidekick villain.
But it's, you know, again, it's the business of Jennifer Lawrence is big now. She's so big now. Yeah, we have to give her a bigger. It's like you're saying, they got it backwards. Like, okay, now she's so big, and we already got her. Like, we already got this gem.
Yeah,
we might as well use her.
She's in the front of the poster. Like, her character's coming back to lead the team in the battle. I'm like, lead the team in the battle.
She's a fucking villain.
And then not only that, and I know they went back and changed her character in the previous movie. Was like, that was the first time she was gonna kill, and they changed that. But I'm like, she's not even Mystique on the poster. They made this big thing about, well, you should look like yourself. You shouldn't hide from the world. That was the whole reason she flipped on in the first one, that Magneto sees me for who I really am. I don't need to hide myself when I'm with him. But now she's back and she's like Jennifer Lawrence, because we need Jennifer Lawrence in the trailer.
We need to see her face. We need to see the actor's face, because we're paying for. So it's a portrayal. It's exactly what you said.
And this is where they went south previously. The reason why, you know, X-Men 3 didn't work, because they were centering it around Hugh Jackman, who's great as Wolverine, but it's not enough. You need to believe in the lore.
What makes you say that? Just because they killed everyone else in that movie?
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point. But even the spin-offs, you know, that it showed that after a while, if you don't include the other characters, you run into trouble with not being able to adapt the stories people want to see, and then you're relying on rushing out original scripts that A, aren't that original, B, X-Men or just Wolverine didn't really did a good job with anything, adapting any characters or coming up with really anything original. I mean, the whole premise of the movie was Logan's backstory revealed. The big mystery is lifted. And when you see the movie, it's like, this ain't that exciting at all. This big mystery is bullshit. I'd rather not know. Let's go back to Mystery Logan, because his real life is kind of boring.
What you mean in the Wolverine 2 movie, the Japan one?
Oh, that was even like, forget both of them. And I'm saying that when you look at this whole thing with Gambit, that whole effort,
I forgot that movie was even happening, because it goes on and off so much.
It's not happening because they didn't have a Gambit story. They had Channing Tatum. That was the whole thing. Like that's the only thing you heard about that project. That we got Channing Tatum for X-Men. They were parading, and Channing Tatum has grown into be a really fine actor. And I'm looking forward to
he's good. I like him
compared to where he started.
True.
You know, he's a committed
great dancing.
Yeah, stripping. Yeah, he's a committed professional. He really grew. He has good acting skills. He's done movies like
Magic Mike.
I was gonna say Foxcatcher, but yeah, the other classic.
I like Magic Mike. I know you guys are gonna hate me, but I like Magic Mike. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm right there with you. I watch both. I watch Magic Mike and Magic Mike XL.
Double XL, son. Man. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the mistake they made with that. They didn't even have a script, and it wasn't like Channing Tatum always wanted to play Gambit and he had a director in mind, or he had a story in mind he wanted to adapt, or original. Like that, they had nothing. He was just looking for a role that would come with job sustainability, because everybody's jumping on a superhero bandwagon. They signed him and they couldn't offer him anything. But it was good they hired him, because I remember at that Comic-Con when every other asshole was busy posing for the cameras and Stan Lee had like a heart attack or something. Channing Tatum was the only person who was like, oh, let me help this 90-year-old man off stage while you assholes just pose. But yeah, that's my thing with Fox. I really would like to see them realize that, you know, you can rely on the source material and actually expand on other characters. That's what Civil War did well.
Can I be like, I want you to finish because I got something to say.
No, I'm just saying that's what Civil War did well. Even the side characters had interest, not super interesting story, but they were well used. Every actor, minus, you know, the new ones entering, but the main cast, even the new superhero characters like Black Panther, Spider-Man, those guys were done well, and they were done in a way that was exciting, and it made you want to see more. In X-Men, usually you just want to see Hugh Jackman, you want to see Michael Fassbender, you want to see Jennifer Lawrence. You don't care a damn about Nightcrawler or Beast. Hell, I've just finished playing Quantum Break, and that boy Shawn Ashmore, he's a great lead in that. He's a great leading man. But you never seen him get any roles like that. Iceman, nobody cared about Iceman.
Yeah, hey, look, let me cut here and say this. I hate to cut your little ramble short, but I'm gonna play the role of the masses and tell you what everyone else is saying.
Okay, talk to me.
And it's a hashtag on Twitter. You know what the hashtag is?
Hashtag fuck you.
Hashtag give it back to Marvel. Let me tell you something. People have no faith in nobody. When you got Marvel characters not owned by Marvel Studios, they don't want to know. Look at fucking Fantastic Fan Force Stick or whatever you want to say. They're apparently doing some backdoor deals to get. Apparently, Marvel got the rights back. That's apparently they're signing deals to get it back. Of course, because they failed 3 fucking times, and the last time was a fucking abysmal. Now, if Sony can make this deal where we have our name on it, and these guys do all the work and make good movies and get money, I foresee that if they keep X-Men hasn't been as atrociously horrible as any of these other Sony movies or whatever. So I think they can keep the rights and, as you say, fix up and look at themselves, look at this in retrospective, think about it and do it properly. Or they can just hashtag give it back to Marvel and let these fuckers do it. And it's probably not, don't get me wrong, I know I'm making jokes, it's probably not going to happen. But people have faith in Marvel. People see that Marvel brings the talent. And if, this movie, let me tell you something. Simon, guys, you listening to this, Simon didn't watch the trailer to X-Men Apocalypse. Or did you? Was it in the cinema when we saw Captain America?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so he hasn't seen the trailer. The trailer to X-Men Apocalypse, honestly, didn't blow. I've seen all of them. All the trailers. The most recent one, it was the best one, but I didn't give 2 shits. Because it looks like they were just blowing up everything. And just like Simon said, they highlighted Apocalypse and what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. So to me, again, they're making the same mistake. My problem is with 20th Century Fox and with X-Men in particular. I'm going to focus on X-Men more than the company. I don't give 2 shits about X-Men, and that's
really
and the live action.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's because 20th Century Fox haven't done a good job of making them interesting.
Oh yeah.
At best, the movies have been mediocre to okay to watch. But from a character writing perspective, if you ask me which was the best one, I would say X-Men 2. And was it because they had the best story? Nope. Was it because they had the best action? Yeah. Other than that, all of them can go to hell. The Wolverine movies, the first one is rubbish. The second one, I liked it because it was in Japan and there were some good scenes. But none of those other, a lot of superhero movies, and even the other ones we'll talk about later, they never got the character depth right. They never got me interested in the story. The only people who have done it is Marvel. So when I see these, even when you said to me 20th Century Fox, I just think Marvel, even though I understand it owned by someone else. Deadpool is a perfect example of what we like to call a passion project. These guys had the passion to do it. This rarely happens, but it happened. And when this happens, where they care about the script and the character, no matter what label it's on, if you have a passion project by people who want to do this shit, it's done right. Now, this is doing so well. They're already speaking about trying to get Marvel involved with Deadpool. They want to do crossovers already. That's 20th Century Fox's biggest pool right now. X-Men, it's a convoluted mess. What they need to do, like this whole First Class situation was meant to be a reboot of sorts.
Oh yeah.
That's why they got all these new actors
Except Hugh Jackman's agent came in and said, hell no, my boy is still in there. Give him a cameo.
But the good news with that is his voice is leaving. He's saying he's going to leave after the next movie. The next movie is going to be the last one. So it's going to be a perfect opportunity for them to start from scratch. And hopefully, hashtag give it back to Marvel, just because it's not like I want Marvel to do everything, but a lot of these companies, 20th Century Fox, they got a license to do something and it was okay, it was mediocre. But you got this other company and some people with passion, like the Deadpool guys, that show some real interest. That's what we want. I want someone who knows what they're doing on the path. So let's tail back to what you're saying in the beginning. Where do we move from here with 20th Century Fox? Looking at this X-Men Apocalypse movie trailer, the movie looks like it's going to be adequate. It looks like it's going to be the first X-Men First Class was really good. The second one, Days of Future Past, was good as well. This one, to be honest with you, looks like the worst of the 3, but still looks okay. After this, I don't want to see another X-Men movie from, was it Bryan Singer?
Yeah.
I want him to stop and leave. And even he said he wants this to be his last one anyway, I think, because he's obviously got some other issues that are related to the movie outside. Then you've got Deadpool that wants to merge with Marvel. So 20th Century, they're going to want to reboot X-Men. As far as I'm concerned, they won't. It's too confusing to continue this. The Wolverine and the X-Men. It's too. They need to, after this apocalypse, which looks like, by the way, an independent style destroying the Earth level movie. So you want to wipe the slate clean. This is the movie to do it. Come back with a new cast, because if they want to start now in the 80s and tail back around to the new, it's too confusing. So 20th Century Fox, either do what Simon says, take some interest, passion into what you're doing. They seem to be just taking it as they come. The good thing about Marvel, which I will say, is they are showing people, hey, look, man, you can do this right. Care more about your characters. As you said on the last podcast, take a look at the landscape of each and every character. Take your time with each of these guys and give them a lot of screen time. Honestly, if you look at the slate, I don't know if you've got a 20th Century Fox slate. I don't know if they've announced any other future movies. I don't think I've seen anything except for Deadpool 2, obviously.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah,
Deadpool
except
2.
for that. I don't see anything they got planned, which is another sign to me, because everyone else has announced this shit, that they're thinking about future plans or whatever.
Yeah, they wanted to do the sequel to the Fantastic Four reboot, but that's not happening.
No, that's already that's
dead.
That's
dead.
a given to Marvel.
Yeah.
They're giving that to Marvel no matter.
Yeah.
It would be stupid if they don't do it at this point. And they've already spoken about. Again, we're giving you a lot of news, guys. Guardians of the Galaxy want to use some of the Fantastic Four villains in their next franchise.
It makes sense. It makes
perfect sense. They're already in the galaxy. Fantastic Four villains are very galactic anyway, so that makes perfect sense. And obviously, for Marvel to tell in Fantastic Four that way would be excellent. It's already a team up movie, so I'm kind of, obviously you can tell from my whole ramble here, I'm riding off 20th Century Fox for the most part, because they've made mediocre movies, which I've enjoyed for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part, but in terms of, we want passion. The thing of Marvel has shown is pure passion. Deadpool has shown pure passion. When you show pure passion, you satisfy the fans, the casual moviegoers, everyone. If you haven't got pure passion, I don't care. 20th Century Fox have got one trick pony to me. They got one thing, and they got this Deadpool thing that just came out of nowhere for them. Complete passion project. So for me, it's like, hey, if they can look at Marvel and say, you know what, we can do this right. Hey man, I'm all for it. Otherwise, give it back to Marvel. We'll get to DC in a minute, but that's my thoughts on that.
Hey, I agree to a certain extent, because they really lucked out with Deadpool. And again, that was almost like some reverse karma, because the only reason they went with that movie, because once again, they had that actor, Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds was an actor that he must be a joy to work with, because everybody says he's really passionate, he's really dedicated, a lovely guy, he's easy to work with. Because he had the worst track record with these movies. He even messed up Deadpool itself in X-Men Origins Wolverine. But
some people would even say he put the nail in the coffin for DC with that Green Lantern movie.
That was the beginning of the end for them, because that's when they learned don't do anything without Batman. just take the Batman. But
we're looking at Batman right now.
Yeah, exactly. In our improvised studio, the Dawn of Justice trailer is playing.
Which didn't save that movie.
Anyway, but yeah, that was a huge home run for them that came out of nowhere. And that's what kind of keeping them in the game right now, that they're saying, we got something that, the Marvel family-friendly PG-13 market can't really handle a rated R movie, but the guys behind that movie, they seem to be catching up to what's going on with Fox, and they don't want another Fantastic Four situation, so they're already sending signals. And to give you a little bit of background, do you know how Marvel gets the rights to movies like Spider-Man? And
no, I don't. Educate us.
Okay, so they're bullying. Basically, what they do, they cut the rights for merchandising, because that doesn't come with a film license. So if Marvel says no to merchandising as a whole company, who owns the rights to the characters through comics,
sure,
then you can't do it, and that's a huge loss in revenue. So Sony,
actually, I know that, because when the Fantastic Four movie came out, they weren't doing any comic. They said they cancelled the comic run as well, and they weren't doing any.
Yeah,
publicity for them as well. Yeah,
basically blackmailed them right away. They said, you're not getting any money off of this minus the theater. So it's a huge risk, because if the movie bombs, you literally just lose money out of the gate. So Sony, who are in a very bad financial position, and their film department, Columbia, what else do they own? TriStar and all that stuff that they bought back in the day. All the revenue from that is just used to basically fill in the holes in their finances where they lose money on other divisions. So their film division makes up for stuff they lose elsewhere. So they can't really afford to have mess up a huge property like Spider-Man. So they rather cut a deal and say, we don't have to invest anymore in this. Marvel does all the investing and we just get a small cut, which is the beginning of the end. Marvel's gonna push them out of it completely over the next couple of years, because now they're in a position to bully them, saying, well, you have to give us money for this. And they're like, no, we don't want to. No, you said you're gonna do it. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. You just need to give us a little bit more, more. Let's say instead of 30 you get 25%, instead of 25 you get 20. So it's a long process of just getting rid of them all completely. So they could definitely do that for X-Men, because they already did it with Fantastic Four, because it wasn't worth the risk of trying to reboot it again. I mean, sitting on the rights, paying for the license, and bringing Bryan Singer back again. They lucked out. Days of Future Past was better than anybody expected. I saw the trailer. I thought it looked horrible. I thought James McAvoy looked ridiculous. He looked like a character from Boogie Nights. Everybody made that joke. And now even Quicksilver, everybody said Quicksilver sucks. Is going to Age of Ultron Quicksilver all the way. And then he had the best scene in the movie. So now they're... And everybody knows that actor from American Horror Story. So now they're riding him hard. Over here in the UK, we have a commercial for Sky TV. He's all over it as Quicksilver. They did like this whole action scene that looks more expensive than the movie. I was like, hot damn. You just had one cool scene in a previous movie, yet you're the star of the franchise. So they really need to pull back on that and have a little bit more balance in the story. But now that you said give it back to Marvel, Joss Whedon showed interest. There was a statement that he wants to come back and do something. And guess who had one of the best runs on X-Men? It was his, what was it? Astonishing X-Men?
And you call us nerds.
Oh, that was a good story. Dangerous. When the Danger Room comes back.
It's always an exception for you, motherfucker.
That was a good motion comic,
goddamn
man.
Hypocrite.
I'm just saying that if the chips fall in place and they can do some odd, weird spin-off with, Deadpool, maybe put... I know the Ghost Rider movies suck, but they own the license to Ghost Rider, so might as well just go crazy. They want to do X-Force with him, right?
Sure.
Or put Cable
I've heard rumors about X-Force.
Yeah, but if they want to do that and they end up with the rights to X-Men and they want to reboot it as well, they got the guy on speed dial who could probably write a decent story for it. So,
I should be clear. Marvel do not have a monopoly on creative or good writers. They do not. I don't want all eggs coming out of one basket. I'm just saying, passion. That's all I want. I don't care where you're from, what color, creed, company you're from. Just have passion, and that's all we need. And from all these other movies, apart from Marvel, they don't show the passion. They show the similar strategies, the similar formulas they've shown in other movies that do not fucking work with comic book movies, because they need to be made a certain way with a certain level of care. And as Simon just said, you cannot base these comic book movies on one fucking character, because you lose momentum on a whole. The execution doesn't really work, and you upset the fans, because fans don't come to comic books for one movie. It's always a nice ensemble cast, and as we know in cinema today, ensemble casts are really killing it. People love Fast and Furious, they love ensemble cast. They loved it before with Ocean's 12. There's a lot of movies, Ghostbusters. We are coming into more characters, more fun, very up. And like we said before, the day of the Hollywood star singular is gone. We want characters that interact with each other, that make us laugh, that just show a variety, different flavors, all in one movie. And it makes a shit ton of money. So but is there anything else you want to say about 20th Century Fox before we move on to the next, which will be DC, by the way?
Yeah, if they do another X-Men, cast Jesse Eisenberg as the villain. That's what that's the only improvement they could do. Like, nah. Speaking of which, speaking of Jesse Eisenberg, DC, I think at this point we express that we love, like, if we had to pick one of the three or two, because we basically said screw 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
We prefer the DC characters. We prefer the DC stories. We prefer the DC lore. And man, these guys fell off real bad. We were talking about Captain America a lot today, and we out of fun we watched the old cartoons, from the 60s.
Yep.
And we realized that if you look at Marvel, the further you go back, the worse they get, obviously. So they're like, they continuously improved over time. But with DC, you go backwards and you start seeing stuff that it's much better than today. Animation stuff in the 90s, they had the animated series, 2 Emmy Awards. Before this, they had the Christopher Nolan movies. Then, you know, obviously you had the Tim Burton movies. I know
which I liked. I liked them.
Yeah, the Schumacher series was there. True.
I even like Batman Forever.
Yeah, Batman Forever and Batman Robin are
good for what they are.
Yeah, are kids' movies.
Yeah.
The only reason people don't like them, including myself, is because with the Tim Burton movies, you already elevated the genre.
Batman, yeah.
You didn't have to do the same thing you did in the 60s.
Sure.
Which, by the way, look in the 60s, Batman TV show, one of the biggest hits ever. You know, you compare that to what Marvel was doing at the time with the Spider-Man show that didn't even make it to the end of the first season, or the Captain America thing, and it's not even a contest. All the way back to the old school Superman Fleischer cartoons, DC was always the forerunner. They were always the innovator who did it things first, did it the best, tried out new technologies. And lately, they just fell off. Their comic books are a mess. Their animation department is a mess. Their straight-to-DVD movies are a mess. They are either remaking something we've seen a bunch of times before, like The Killing Joke, and with a really poor budget. Yeah. Or they have a decent budget on a really crap story that nobody cares about, like... I don't even know what's the latest Teeny Titans versus Justice League or something like that.
Justice League Action. I mean, I don't want to spend the podcast reiterating stuff we've done before with DC.
But it's kind of clear that they lost their way. They used to be the front runner, and now they're taking a back seat, trying to just react to whatever Marvel is doing.
And well, let me just give a bit of an update. Since the last time me and Simon did a long podcast about how disappointed we are with the Justice League movie, and we're not going to go with the Justice League, with the Dawn of Justice movie. There's been some developments. Obviously, I think we mentioned, you know, Suicide Squad's getting reshot. The director they had for the Flash movie has now dropped out due to creative differences. I mean, dropping out of a movie that's already been slated is very bad. I mean, you lose a lot of confidence with that. Then you've heard rumors that due to the very, very, very disappointing feedback they've gotten, and this is official now, because at first it was only the critical reception, the official critics that didn't like the movie. But now, if you look on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, the fan score has been consistently dropping. The box office has been consistently dropping with Batman vs Superman. It hasn't. I think it's actually one of their lesser movies now. And again, let's reiterate this so you understand. This is a movie with Batman and Superman. Okay, so put that in your mind. The two biggest superheroes, period, and on DC didn't do gangbusters. That is very, very bad. And apparently it came out on the article that DC have now looked at Zack Snyder's vision for the Justice League, and they're saying that considering what the fans are saying, even if we like it, you might have to rethink the strategy, and they're butting heads. My prediction is something either this Justice League movie is going to be in production hell. It's going to be bad. Like, I know this Justice League movie, just from a storytelling perspective, whatever vision Zack Snyder's got is a bad one. I know that, period. I have no hope for it. But Zack Snyder won't be doing Justice League Part 2, period. They just won't let it. Unless he rewrites his whole script, which is unlikely for any director at this point. It's kind of a betrayal of what they hired him to do. So unless he's not going to stick to his guns and be their slave or something, their puppet, and do as they say, you ain't going to see him on that Justice League Part 2. And between now and when that movie comes out, I'm sure there's going to be more vocal developments as we see trailers coming out, as we see Suicide Squad. And speaking of which, Simon, as you said, you're not looking forward to Suicide Squad.
Nope.
If this movie does bad, and let me tell you something, Suicide Squad, believe it or not, is the last post for these. If they don't get this movie right, forget it. If you can't get another Batman movie right, it's over. I will just consider them completely dead, and we got to talk about that upcoming. So what's your deal with Suicide Squad coming up? Because I never really heard why you're not hyped for that.
Because see, Suicide Squad is an episode of a TV show. That's how the story is written. That's how it works. It's like it's when you did superhero stories for a while, you switch it up and show an episode from the villain's perspective. But to base it on a film series, I'm like, number one problem you have. Yeah,
I heard it was an ongoing comic series for a number of years.
I know,
though.
but in the comics, you can rotate a bunch of characters in and out, and you don't have like you don't necessarily have a continuous arc for a character because they will leave, and then in comics you reboot stuff all the time. Things change, the timeline changes. It's a much more it's a more loose continuity. In a movie, you kind of have to set things in stone. If characters start somewhere, they have to end up somewhere as well. You can't just have them go on an adventure and nothing happens. And number one problem you have is you have the Joker in there, who's a character that eats away screen time. Even in the Batman movies, most of the time it's more about the Joker than the actual hero. Now he's sharing the movie with what, 5 other characters, 6 other characters, one of them played by Will Smith, who's like Mr. Movie Star. I love him as an actor, but 90% of the time he starts off kind of edgy. Halfway through the movie he's a hero, and now it's time to save the world. Then you have Harley Quinn, who everybody's looking forward to again, and then you have Batman in there, and then you have
everybody else, and you have everybody else.
Exactly, everybody else.
No, not many people know about. I'm not gonna. And the Joker, of course. You said the Joker already.
Yeah, that's the main problem. Like, the
Joker
takes up too much attention, and I don't even know if they want to do a Joker spin-off now. It's like they're desperate to do spin-off movies, but they're trying to test who the audience wants to see, or what they're just throwing stuff at the wall. And
it's a test. I won't lie to you. This movie is a test. It's a risk as well.
Oh yeah, and their big problem is that they based everything on counter-programming Marvel. Marvel was the family-friendly, fun action comedy. Now they show they can do more than that. So DC literally has no leg to stand on. That's why they're doing all these reshoots, because they realize nobody wants to see a dark Suicide Squad movie now. So they're adding more comical scenes. They're adding extra comedy. They're adding all this stuff back into the film. And they're already adding Batman to Wonder Woman, because apparently their original vision is not working either. Now,
let me just clarify, in case you didn't hear that. Simon's saying, and I did confirm this on the news article, they're adding Batman to Wonder Woman. Now, this Wonder Woman movie is meant to be a period piece set in World War One. Unless they're going to end, I don't know why. Well, I know why they're bringing Batman in, because Batman is, the savior of DC.
They're really afraid that movie is going to underperform, which it will. So they really try.
Well, they got plenty of time to put Batman in there, but just hearing that is pathetic. Because, like I said, they're destroying Batman. They're using him way too much. They were putting they're literally eroding the character. They're really, really just. I'm looking at him right now. really, really just making him. I don't know, man. Just when I heard that the woman, I didn't have any hope for the Wonder Woman movie anyway. You for Batman in that movie?
Yeah, I mean. To break it down and get to the point, I mean, Batman used to be special. It used to be like a James Bond movie. It used to be an event who they cast, what the story's gonna be. It used to be a big franchise on its own. Now they're diminishing the value of the franchise by putting him in everything.
Yeah,
he's with Suicide Squad. He's with Wonder Woman, and
he's in Superman.
What
isn't he in? Oh, I know what he's not in.
Yeah,
he's on Batman movie. Oh wait,
we got 3 of them coming.
He's coming. Brought to you by Simon's favorite actor Ben Affleck and Jeff Johns, the savior of DC Comics.
Yeah, up until he turns into Frank Miller, because
actually, we got to speak about that actually, because sorry to change the subject, but another kind of update is that apparently DC have been thinking about getting some of the comic writers to come into the movies, because obviously, and now with this Flash movie having not a director, they might want to get Jeff Johns involved, or so. I know you had problems with getting comic writers to do movies, which I don't think. I don't know. It could have interesting results, but you don't sound too positive about that.
The reason is that if this is the future that DC's planning for this cinematic franchise, they need to look at what they did with comics. They had 3 reboots in what, 6 years, 7 years?
Why you gotta bring up old shit?
That's old. That's the point. It's not old. It's they used to not reboot their comic book line for like 2-3 decades. Now they did it 2-3 times in one, and that's the thing. I know there are a lot of good writers writing comics. I know there are a lot of good stories in comics that I enjoy reading, even though I'm not, a comic book guy.
Nice.
I read. No, it's true. But I read a good story when I see one. But the point is, those guys on a whole, if you think about the entire industry, they can't write 3-4 chapters without retconning something. They can't write 3-4 chapters before Batman's killed, but he's sent back in time to find the Loch Ness Monster, and Commissioner Gordon is Batman. It's like, what happened to just writing a good story with a beginning, middle, and end? I don't need to see Batman travel back in time after getting zapped by Darkseid and all this craziness. Like, what happened to just writing good, coherent stories? So I'm kind of skeptical of them coming into the cinematic franchise and trying to write stories that are grounded in reality and are believable, and then gradually progress into something that incorporates more complicated science fiction and fantasy elements, if you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, we bitch a lot about DC, mostly because we love them. So just before, we've gone on about DC enough, but I just want to say, what do you think we could do to help them? What do they need to do? Do they just need to get more in? All right, forget about the comic guys. Do we need to get more younger directors, comic book lovers in direct, like Max Landis? We need to get Max Landis back up in here.
It's too late. That's the thing. Like,
I kind of agree. I hate to say it. I think they need this whole current landscape. I'm sorry to cut you there, but I agree. I think this whole run of DC needs to go away. Because
here's the thing. We talked about Fox, and you said give it back to Marvel. And they could definitely do that. But
DC, hashtag give it back to Marvel.
just join Fox and give everything to Marvel, yeah. But Fox, at least they're doing movies that are kind of well received.
They're competent. At least, I won't lie, they're more than competent.
And they're keeping it simple. Yeah, they're keeping it simple. They messed up with Fantastic Four. They canceled it.
That was bad. That was a really bad one.
Yeah, but they accepted it. They didn't say, "Oh, critics don't know what they're talking about." It's the fans that are gonna see it. Yeah, it's like, let's get Ben Affleck in there. They didn't cast Ben Affleck as Mr. Fantastic and said he's gonna write an Academy Award-winning script in the sequel. You'll see. They said it was bad. Let's stop. The problem with Warner Brothers is that they have 10 movies already slated that have no directors attached. That's what happened to the Flash movie. They got this guy in. He said, this looks like a mess. And he was out. And people didn't even know who he was. So I'm like, this would have been a big movie for him to jump out as a director. But even he said it's not worth it. And I really think they're missing an opportunity. So
what do they need to do? What do they need to do?
I think they need to look at that there are other genre films they could really expand on. People want to see more stuff from... There's a generation growing up coming into film who grew up on video games and Japanese stuff, and I really think
sounds like you're saying one of us to give up on superheroes.
they should just wait it out,
okay,
and jump. Like Ghost in the Shell is turning into a movie. There are we were talking about for decades to get Alfonso Cuarón and Keanu Reeves to do a Cowboy Bebop movie. Everybody wants to see that freaking movie. They have so much potential to create universes using those characters, and that will be short-lived because they have
Warner Brothers doing anime. That's interesting.
They wanted to do Akira for ages. Now I'm not saying do Akira. Don't get me wrong, because that doesn't seem like a good idea. But I'm just saying that between video games and between Japanese anime, there's so much stuff to adapt that would be a good genre movie and a good counter programming to all the superhero stuff. And they could just cut this out, put it on hiatus, and then reboot it properly with dedicated people who know what they're doing, who have a genuine vision.
Do you think
that's not gonna happen?
No. If DC fail on all legs, do you think they'll just take a hiatus, or do you think they'll just keep pushing?
I keep referring to the same thing, that they wanted to do Batman vs Superman before, but they had the common sense not to because it was a terrible script, and they put it on hiatus. And then Christopher Nolan came along with a genuine idea, and they gave him a shot, and it turned out great. So if they do that, but we discussed why this is purely a financial move. Their stock actually went up, even though the movie wasn't received as well as they hoped. The stock went up. The people greenlighting the pictures get a huge bonus for all the revenue it's generating. they're out before the backlash. You know, they're moving on to their next job before the property damage hits, and you know you can't continue because nobody wants to see. You make it sound like the people
in The Big Short. Let's get in and get out before their crisis hits.
That's exactly how it is. It's short-term profit. It's quick returns. So what I'm saying is, just the market's overcrowded. Put it on a hiatus. There's plenty of other stuff to adapt. Plenty of nerd properties to cash in. That's my advice. I'm sorry. I know people look forward to these movies, but seriously, from what you've seen...
But you know, you're right, because if they fail, it's one of those things where if it's already in your face, even if they had a really good one, they can't afford to bring it too soon, because you can't bring another, like, oh, let's say Better Justice League completely fails. Completely abysmal. Like another Fantastic Four. And then they realize that, you know what, this isn't going to work out. So what are they going to do? They have and then Max Landis comes, I've got a great Superman story. They can't bring it out straight away because they have to recast Superman. The audiences will need a break.
Especially since the problem is usually you start with the origin. And people are already tired of this. The origin. Even in Batman vs. Superman, Batman's origin was horrible. You were like, here we go again. So they're really, really, really... just damaging these property values.
But then again, then I hear a voice in my head saying they brought back Spider-Man within 3 years.
That's so different, though.
Maybe they'll...
That's different. That's Homecoming.
But you might have someone in there...
He's home now. He's home now.
You might have someone in their head saying, no, we can do it. If we do it right, we can bring it back in 2 years.
Yeah, right. That's what they did with Batman. Look how well that turned out.
Well, apparently very well. You're the only one that doesn't like Ben Affleck, my friend.
People are slow. People. Remember the people who like Batman vs. Superman opening night? Yeah, they'll come around. They're just a little slow, but yeah.
Okay.
Out of all the three studios or production companies, they're in the worst position. They have the most stuff coming up that's doing the worst in terms of box office. Well, they
pre-announced a lot of shit, by the way, which, to be honest with you, I think they were just like marking their territory, like we got this, but honestly, no production details. Director's already falling out. I absolutely hate. Let me just say that I have to stop myself right now and say I hate to harp on DC. I really do. Like, you guys are probably thinking, you guys call yourself DC fanboy, you're just taking over. Look, man, it's just when you look at it, it's so depressing, negative, and disappointing that. On all cylinders, even when you see the results of what they bring, it doesn't show any promise. And in this, it's like we're in the time of self-preservation where to save it, you have to stop it.
Yeah, actually, they're helping Fox because I'm looking forward to their stuff more because I don't want to watch any of the DC slated movies. So I'm like, I'd rather watch X-Men.
They don't exist. Like, honestly, we haven't seen anything of apart from Wonder Woman. To me, none of them exist until Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad. The only two things we've seen visuals for. Everything else, I'm super pessimistic about in the timeline. They don't know what they're doing, and the feedback for this one movie, which put all the eggs. That actually, in saying that was your biggest mistake. The thing is, and I think we can all learn something from DC in this respect. If you have a whole cast of characters coming up, yeah.
Okay.
Or if you have a whole slate of shows with all these different characters,
sure.
You can put them in front of you one at a time, over time, and you could take it like a hit at a time. Like, oh, I like this guy, I don't like this guy.
You mean like Green Lantern?
Yeah, but you know what? If you bring out someone else, they'll wait to see what it's like before they shoot them down.
Of course.
When you put them all in the same movie for 5 seconds,
yeah,
you can't. Not only can you not really
get invested,
to know them,
yeah,
but you've already tainted all of them at the same time, which is why Dawn of Justice, it should not have been called Dawn of Justice. That 5 seconds should not have been in the movie. Let me tell you something, even if it was just Flash and Wonder Woman in the movie, that would have been too much.
Wonder Woman was too much.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it would have built hype if you didn't know they were in the movie and they showed up. You got to build some hype, but you ruined it. And now I'm sitting here doing 2 podcasts bitching about you. And I'm reading news articles about studios don't want anything to do with future projects and directors jumping ship. I mean, these are facts.
Yeah.
These are not rumors anymore. They're facts.
Yeah.
So I'm like, stop.
Stop. messed up, especially when you put in.
I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to see him bitch about them anymore.
And when you put in the confusion of the TV shows that are separate, so now we don't even know. Like, speaking of Flash, is it gonna be Wally West or Barry Allen?
They'd never mention that.
Yeah,
you know what?
Wally West is black in the comics.
I will look on IMDb, but they only put the Flash. They didn't even put the name of the cat. So
yeah, let's move on to something less depressing, because
to wrap this up.
Yeah, exactly. we got nothing on DC. You know, DC they used to be the innovator. Now they're just trailing behind, copying and counter programming, and now they have nothing to counter program too. They can't be the dark, moody characters anymore, because you know, Marvel has dark and serious movies now too. It's not just action comedies. So now they try to go opposites now, but I cannot wait for Suicide Squad to come out and see a movie that's half of it is really dark and violent. The other half is like old jokes and Will Smith being the Fresh Prince.
Hey man, I'm gonna give you a Dark Knight Rises reference, which I can't give verbatim, but in that movie, one of the biggest themes is you gotta fall before you rise again. And DC, they have to go down. Like, it's not forever.
Rasera.
We can, yeah, but honestly, like, it's not. They're not doomed forever. But this whole run of them, they need to fail. But you know what? I have faith that someone else will do it justice. No pun intended. And you know, it can happen. It can happen. It will happen. I just want it to happen in my lifetime, is all.
Wow, okay. Sure. Let please, Marvel. Yeah, next, moving on.
Hashtag give it back to Marvel.
Yeah, hashtag give it back to Marvel.
Go on, sorry. Let's wrap up with it on a high note with Marvel.
Well, that's the thing, because Marvel is like, they're having a god status now. They just made...
That's it, god status.
Everybody was saying that there's no way Captain America is going to beat Batman versus Superman. Now they're talking...
Who said that? Who said that?
That was the general consensus. Everybody said that it's a Captain America movie. Because this is when it was just slated as Captain America 3.
I guess.
You didn't know Civil War or any
going
of that.
back, yes, I agree with that. Going back, yes.
And now they're not only talking about that it beat it. They're talking about how it's gonna beat the Avengers, the first Avengers. So they went into overhype mode now. So there's like no stopping them. So let's see if there are any cracks in the armor, and are there things they need to
well, let's talk about that, because you don't watch trailers. It's hard to talk to Simon when you don't watch trailers. But
hey, I'm a purist, man. Because if you want to talk about things they should look at is the damn trailers. Because the one spot they released for damn what's it called, Civil War, is the end of the movie, the final fight scene with Iron Man.
How would you know that? You're one of them people like my sister who predicts these fucking movies and ruin it for themselves. I didn't know that was the end of the movie.
I knew it.
I thought that was in the middle. Like when you see Captain America bloody.
I thought it was in the middle too, and that's gonna be the catalyst. But then you see the movie and it's not happening.
Well, there you go.
Up until the end.
I wasn't ruined. I had no problem with that, brother. But the reason why I bought our trailers is because the next thing Marvel come out is Doctor Strange, which is the trailer was pretty good. I didn't think it was as mind blowing as everyone said, but Marvel said specifically, by the way, and in related story, someone that we kind of, I don't want to say we know per hand, but there's someone called Cargill who is the writer related to the site we kind of worked with.
Our friend, in our friend circle, our friends of friends, through work history, with actually the guy who's writing Doctor Strange. Yeah. So us by association.
We know the guy by association, basically. I've spoken to the guy on Facebook, Cargill, Robert S. Cargill, I believe his name is. And, you know, he was just saying the trailer only showed an iota of the movie. The movie was really good. And this is the magic element for Marvel. This is the magic universe, which they haven't really got to in this level. And this is meant to be Marvel pushing the envelope. I'm going to put guys, if you got this far on the podcast, thank you. I'm going to put a link in the YouTube card at the top here where you'll see the interview that Robert Cargill gave speaking about how Marvel approaches making movies. And with this movie, in an interview, he said they were pushing the boundaries. How can we make this better? How can we make this separate from all the other Marvel movies? This is a magic movie. How can we really push the boundaries? And from what he was saying, that trailer only gives you an inkling, because the trailer looked like The Matrix meets Dark City meets Inception. some
Wow,
crazy
okay.
upside. The visuals are great. The story to me seems very generic. I saw the animated story. The Doctor Strange story seems super generic. Honestly,
Well, he has a great origin in terms of like him being a surgeon, losing the ability of feeling, touch in his hands.
yeah, that's pretty much it. He goes down to fix his hand. He does magic instead. The end. I mean, and that's it.
So you don't have compassion in your heart. You don't feel a little bit teary eyed.
No, I saw the animated. If you see the animated cartoon, guys, a Marvel cartoon of Doctor Strange, you've seen the movie. It's the same blueprint, but that's fine. That's not a bad thing. But apparently they've changed some things in the movie. The Ancient One's a woman, this, that, and the other. Look, anyway, my whole point of bringing this to the end is that Marvel have an opportunity with this movie to tap in the magic genre, which people are even I'm very skeptical about. Magic action, how they're gonna merge that with Marvel with their superheroes. But they are getting ready for Infinity War, so it's gonna be interesting to see Marvel again expand into a different space. I'm not the biggest fan of Doctor Strange. The trailer looked okay. I've seen the movie again. It looks like meh. It really does look like a meh. But Marvel, they got that track record. If they can sell me on this and make me love magic, like Harry Potter, which I don't love, by the way. But if they can make me love this, I'll be like, wow, man, Marvel just, I hate to say it, can't do no wrong. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, they got Infinity War and Ant-Man. I haven't looked at their slate. But anyway, people always think about, at this point, Marvel is like a giant collage of characters. Even when you got one superhero, they put them together. It's like you get a bargain. You get 5 for 1. Whenever you watch a Marvel movie, with the cameos and the other characters, you're never getting just one movie. It just really, it's like it snowballs into a bigger experience.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna have, I think the Hulk's gonna be in the next Thor movie.
Oh yeah.
And if that's anything on the scale of what we just saw right now with Civil War, then it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be off the hook, And I hear what you're saying with like them getting almost too big, like it's getting too much to manage. Like how can they keep the quality consistent with all these things, going on at the same time, and all these different sort of subgenres of fantasy and science fiction colliding? Like you got aliens, you got magic, you got almost like a much more serious movie with Civil War that's almost like a spy drama and with a political undertone. But they're doing a good job. One of my concerns is that they're almost getting so big that everybody wants to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to the point where
that's a problem.
They have these terrific actors being wasted. And I know it's a business model. Marvel's the forefront, but in the background you still have that mouse, Mickey Mouse the pimp.
Give me my money.
Yeah, man.
Make that money.
He's like an old pimp that went straight. So he's donating to the church now. He has his own charity. But you step out online and that big freaking white glove is just ready to give you that pimp slap to put you back in line. Because they're locking down these actors so they can't go anywhere else. Idris Elba is
they're not crying with that money they're making.
Oh, no. But Idris Elba is a freaking doorman.
That is so disappointing.
Yeah, everybody wanted him.
I think he even felt like he cashed in too early because he would have. He would have been, if he waited, he would have been cast as a main character.
Yeah, he could have been Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. Yeah, everybody would see him play the character.
I think Marvel would have made a character for him. They would have they would have color swapped a character for Idris Elba. That's how big he is right now.
Oh yeah, especially if he gets Bond, which is another conversation. Which everybody's hoping.
Unlikely story, but
unlikely, but we're rooting for him. The people are rooting for him. But the thing is, Civil War, they had Martin Freeman as just a really minor character in the movie, just like a Nick Fury replacement almost, but like kind of a snarky suit guy.
He was a complete waste. He wasn't even true to the character in the comics. He was meant to be Black Panther's liaison, by the way, in the movies. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, someone did a very good video on what they thought it was going to be, and in this movie, he's a throwaway character. He's a very big side character.
Yep.
But in this movie, for them to cast this actor as that person who did absolutely zero was a complete waste of money. Well, he made money because he's in the Marvel movie period, but it was, why is he in the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's foreshadowing.
Yeah,
but even for foreshadowing, it's bad.
He's Watson in Sherlock. Sherlock is damn Doctor Strange. He has his own freaking franchise where he's the main character. and he just got like a little bone, side bone. I'm like, you're casting all these big name actors in small roles. It almost takes me out of the movie because I'm like, that's Martin Freeman, but I know nothing about his character, so I have a really tough time separating the actor from the character because I know nothing about the actual character. I don't know who this guy is. I don't even remember the character's name. I know he came in to explain something about the situation at the agency. That's it. He's some agency guy in a suit. So not a whole lot to go on. And we saw this in Ant-Man. We saw this in these other movies. I'm like, you're locking down all these actors, and it takes me out of the story. It's almost like a damn reality show now with all these Hollywood's finest and all these actors in one cinematic franchise. I would really like to see more diversity in castings. But with that said, Spider-Man, my boy Spider-Man, unknown.
That's going to be fantastic. I'm looking so forward to that.
Terrific casting. So I'm like, they probably already remedied the problem before it really got bad.
I guess.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't really criticize them because they seem to react very, very fast.
We do wonder if, you just put it in my head though, I do wonder if the bubble's going to burst though. Too much of anything is bad. And obviously, Marvel can oversaturate themselves, but you never know. They're setting a precedence. Maybe they can, I don't know. Like I don't know.
It's hard to tell because Civil War is such a game changer because you really thought this movie, it could be okay, but now you're like, well, this was really, really good, and now I'm kind of reinvested in what they do next. It like re-energized me. Now I want to see what happens after this movie. I want to see how Infinity War is gonna look like after this one.
Oh, I said that on the last podcast. It's a bit. The Russo brothers got a bigger scale, bigger story. It's definitely more universal, galactical than the more down to earth stuff on Captain America. It's gonna be interesting to see what comes to that. But I think that pretty much covers everything. Unless you at the end of final thoughts on that.
Do you have any other concerns? What could they do better?
Marvel.
I
already said it. I said their villains aren't great. They need to. The characters are good on the whole. They got a lot of good heroes. But when I said that last time, I didn't reiterate. It's not Marvel's fault. The comics, even from the comics, the Marvel villains aren't that great. When I watched Jessica Jones and they had the Purple Man, I mean that's a really good villain. But
Killgrave. I had nightmares. Look at their the movie guys need to look at the TV department because Kingpin and Killgrave and Punisher done very well. Yeah. The Punisher kind of anti-hero.
But to be fair, those are so great. I mean, it's not just a TV show. I mean, but even in their own stories, in Spider-Man, they're really good characters.
They're good characters.
I'm just saying that they need to.
But Killgrave was unknown, though. To be fair,
he was. But in that Alias comic book, what he did to Jessica Jones was so intense that he was a good character that he brought to the forefront, and that's all Marvel needs to do. They need more characters like Loki. Loki's fantastic. You love Loki. The actor playing Loki is tired of playing Loki already, which is a shame. But that's Marvel's missing piece to me. Thanos, honestly, he's one of them god level villains I don't think is any good. And it's the comics. It's not from the actor.
He's hard to do it because he needs to be very alien and different from somebody who's motivated like a human.
Exactly.
But at the
Galactus, all of them god level characters.
But it's almost like, so when you do it on film, it's almost like it's too distant. It's too hard to relate to. So
same goes for Apocalypse, since we're going that route, by the way, in X-Men.
Oh yeah, I guess I see what you mean there. He's almost like always pulling the strings.
He's not a villain that you can really relate to. He's too grandioso. Just for me, I've never liked Apocalypse. But I loved him as a villain to kill, but as an interesting character, no.
Yeah, I join you on that. I think following up on using your supporting cast, which again they did a good job of Civil War juggling all the main heroes. So if they can do that with all these great actors in minor roles now, just give them a good.
I mean specific. I know I'm saying I'm saying villains specifically.
And villains, of course. So give those guys one good scene, or at least something where they can act, and really do something with the villains. Really make an effort to get some of this high-end talent.
I would like to see a movie. Villains. I'm gonna throw out there. I would like to see a Marvel movie from a villain perspective.
They could do that.
I'm not.
You know what that movie's
Suicide Squad.
called?
I'm not saying the Suicide
You know
Squad.
what that movie's called?
What?
Venom.
Sony. What are you doing that?
And talk about villains. Who has the best Rose Gallery in Marvel?
I don't like. So I don't. By the way, Venom as a villain is ridiculously silly.
I know, but I'm just saying. You know who has the best Rose Gallery in Marvel? Spider-Man.
He does.
So
and he has the best villains.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he has the best villains.
So I think this villain problem you have is gonna be rectified very, very soon.
No, do you know why? I'm getting Spider-Man out because there's too much meat. Spider-Man on his own will make a good movie even without the villains. So they're not gonna put the Spider-Man villains in different movies. So
you never know, man, because they already have Tony Stark in the new Spider-Man movie. So getting Dr. Octopus and all these guys.
No, but that's just for Spider-Man. So that's different. I want outside villains. I understand what you're saying, but having Spider-Man and Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie, that's too much. That's too. I don't need that. That's good as on his own. Spider-Man can handle it on his own.
Well,
I need good. I know we're going off for one, guys. I need good villains.
We shall see.
But yeah, that's. You asked me a question. We went on for a ramble. But villains, Marvel, focus on that a bit more. Give me a villain, anti-villain. See. By the way, the Punisher got a green series on Netflix. Speaking of which, excellent.
Yeah, man. Do you think they could actually? Because they're always talking about that the TV shows are gonna, at least the Netflix stuff, the high-end stuff, is gonna collide into the Defenders show, which is all the characters coming together.
I think eventually they will. I think they're gonna wait. I think eventually they will. Maybe after this Infinity War thing tumbles over, because they have saying Phase 4. Was it Phase 3 or Phase 4 though now?
Phase 3.
One of them is going to be drastically different, and that might be. I think there'll be a specific time where they're going to tie it all together. I don't think it's going to be this turnaround.
But you think that TV stuff would come into the cinematic universe? Like we could see Daredevil actually throwing down with these guys.
Yeah, at some point.
Because I would like to see that. I think that would be great.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I just don't think it's going to be this time around. I think they're focused on the movies and separating the two.
Oh yeah, don't rush it. But usually Punisher at some point tries to kill Spider-Man for some reason.
Oh yeah, I know they mingled. That Marvel's always mingled very clearly. X-Men, all of them mingle very freely. So, yeah, that's all I can. So
see, sorry guys, we really try to be critical here, but I think we're too close to Civil War at this point. We were spoiled too much again. If this was Iron Man 3, we would have a lot more shit to say.
Yeah, I watched Iron Man 3 again last time, and see now you're making me say what I don't want to say. Iron Man 3 wasn't that bad.
Oh really?
In light of what I've seen recently of other movies.
Okay, in light, yeah. But
so in retrospect,
I think you nailed it with the villain. Get better villains. The actor you had in Civil War was great. The character was good when he was a mystery character, but at the end when he gets revealed, it kind of the hot air is gone.
Yeah, that's a shame. But yeah, I think that's about it. We covered all the predictions and stuff, and I know somebody asked how come we don't do this podcast regularly, and I said we only do podcast 19 where we're passionate. We're not doing this on the schedule yet, because if we did, trust me, we would have some episodes just talking about random garbage. So, and I think someone asked us to do like a Prince episode or whatever. Like, we should have spoken about it at the time, but I was never the biggest Prince fan. I know we're going off topic, we're wrapping up, that's why. Well, I was never the biggest Prince fan, guys. Honestly, I just like some of his songs, but rest in peace to the man, the legend.
The legend, yeah. I mean, I was into Prince, but I don't know how we would do a Prince episode, to be honest.
No, that time I didn't bring it up because I'm just addressing some queries we got, but because we talk about everything on Planet Tyro, but today was mostly superhero stuff, and we'll mix it up in the future. But this isn't a recurring schedule, just so you guys know. We only do it when we're passionate about our topic, which is why we're talking about this stuff now. But you'll never know what's coming soon, so guys, stay tuned. And was there anything else you wanted to do before we signed off?
Yeah, get better animation, Marvel. Just poach Bruce Timm. Rescue Bruce Timm, please, and give him something good to do.
I would agree with you, but they make enough. The live action stuff is so good. I don't want that. They got TV and live action, the cartoons. I got other stuff I need to do, Simon. Sorry, give me some time to myself.
I don't care about you. Just do it for me.
All right, guys. Well, anyway, leave a comment down below on the conversation if you enjoyed it. If you got all this way through to the end, we really, really, really appreciate it. We appreciate you hearing us binge and ramble about DC, Marvel, 20th Century Fox. But again, if you have any queries or any debates or any counterpoints to anything we said, leave it in that comment section down below. If you're listening on iTunes, you can leave a comment down on the iTunes page, the Shout Engine page, however you leave a comment, or email, which we don't ever really say anymore, but you can always email us at planettyro@gmail.com. But of course, if you're listening on YouTube, which is our main hub, because it's free and it's easy to access, click on the annotations on the right for all the other stuff you see for animation, books, TV shows, what have you. And until then, I want to thank my host, Simon Rads, for being on the show as usual.
That's okay. Thanks for listening, guys. Much appreciated.
I hope you guys have a good one. And until then, hit that subscribe button. Become a subscriber. Don't forget. And we'll see you later. So, see ya.
# give it back to Marvel. See ya.
Most definitely.